We are back with another season of Orioles baseball coming up on opening day 2032. Go ahead and go full screen here. The O's predicted to win 109 games. Next best in the AL would be 86. Is anybody else even competing? We got 93 as the next best team. So predicted to be the best team by a mere 16 wins. 193 wins. Predicted to score 796 runs, which is best in the AL and fifth best in the league, but then somehow predicted to give up just 501 runs against with a 2.95 ERA. The next best in the AL would be 673 runs against with a 3.91 ERA. In the AL or NL, I don't think, here's a 616 with 3.55. So, we're predicted to be almost a run better in ERA than the next best team in the American League. Hitter side of things, Armendariz is the only hitter here in the top hitters. Bob Maldonado, not there, a little surprising. Hopefully not a foreshadowing of a decline. Luis Patino predicted to be one of the best pitchers in the league. Also, Steve Donovan, our number 5 starter last year, who put up 3.5 WAR, a rookie. He's 27 and apparently ready to make a big step forward, according to this old prediction here. And so Tigers are predicted to win the Central, Rangers predicted to win the West, and then we've got Nats. Oh, interesting. Cubs with Brewers and Pirates right there, of course, and then the Rockies still pretty dominant. So just to get into what the team looks like, who did we bring in? Who did we bring back? Here on the lineup side of things, catching tandem's the same, Trujillo and Sawmel. Then Armendariz, of course, back as the first baseman. Chris Sandoval and Mike Angeletta will be in a platoon at second base. Angeletta, of course, has been our second baseman / utility infielder the last few years. Great glove, has not been able to find the bat yet at the major league level. He's 27, first round pick from 2023. And so Sandoval was our 5th round pick in 2026. He's only 23. He has not lit up the minor leagues, really. You can see his runs created plus. He's been a little above average at some levels, but, I think he needed to be added to he was added to the 40-man last year. And I just think I'm ready to see what he can do here with this glove at second base, ready to put some youth into the team. And, there have been guys who I promoted when it seemed like rating-wise and scout-wise they were ready, but and they hadn't been terrible at the level below, but they certainly hadn't mastered it, and it's worked out okay for me. So I'm doing that with Sandoval. We'll see how that goes. Angeletta's there too. Sal Stewart, the trade deadline acquisition last year, back at third base. We've got a new shortstop. Adele Amador, 28-year-old, almost 29-year-old. You can see the bat my scout doesn't think he's great, but still rates him as a 60 overall, very above average player because he's one of the best defenders in the game. And so he might be average with the bat maybe, which his career runs created plus is exactly 100 and 2,500 plate appearances. So he's league average bat with an elite glove. He did have one amazing year at the plate where he put up 7.2 WAR in 2029 with Colorado. He then missed the 2030 season due to injury. In 2031, last year for the Dodgers, an 88 runs created plus, but still that's 2.5 WAR because his glove is so good. So we signed him to a 1-year deal at $11.7 million with a player option for the next year. So we'll see if he wants to come back on that. If he does come back, it probably means he didn't have a very good year. So maybe we'll be able to sign him longer term after that. But this is he wanted the shorter term deal. I had actually offered him like a 3 or 4 year deal and for a little bit less money, and he came back and said, no, I want this. So, all right, dude, cool. So he's our shortstop. Our offense is just so good that I felt like we could really sell out for defense here at short. And then outfield is the same. Rookie of the Year, Ben Ortega. Franklin Sanchez, the amazing glove center fielder. Ethan Weinberger, our slugging right fielder back. And Bob Maldonado back at DH. Maldonado's home run power and discipline both dropped according to my scout. He's still an 80 overall, but he's not in the top 10 projected hitters. And this going on, I don't know. Hopefully that's not a bad sign. And then Big story here is the outfielder Julio Concepcion, the number 8 prospect in baseball, 23-year-old. He looks like a stud. He destroyed AA and AAA last year. I think I have him on my opening day roster, but I think I'll probably send him down for about 3 weeks so I have another year of team control. And then he will come up, and I'll basically have a 4-man rotation for my 3 outfield spots. The team is really deep. There's some guys who would definitely be possibly even stars on other teams that will play, 5 days a week for me, kind of like the LA Dodgers in real life. And then 5th outfielder, we did sign a free agent, 37-year-old Ramon Laureano. I needed a right-handed hitting outfielder, and Laureano fit that bill. Just 1 year, $5.5 million deal. You can see his runs created plus. He's decently above average most years. 114 last year for the Yankees. He's spent much of the same, I think, with the the Cornhuskers. Yeah, so he was with the A's at the beginning like he is in real life, and then he went to the Cornhuskers and then the Yankees. So a solid player, puts up, 3 WAR every season with a runs created plus over 100. I just need a right-handed bat. So Jerome Williams, who had been my lefty outfield bat, kind of starting center fielder / 4th outfielder the last several seasons, I dealt him for a few prospects and brought in Laureano. And then on the pitching side of things, starting rotation is exactly the same. Luis Patino, he's got 2 years left, but next year's a player option, and I think he's going to decline that with how well he's pitched. He's like a 4 to 5 WAR per season. So we'll see what happens. He'll be 33 when the season ends. We'll see if he's coming back, but could be his last season. Ben Schilt, the reigning Cy Young winner, and then Jose Corrales, who is also a free agent after this year, and he wants like 10 years, $280 million last time I checked. Aguilar and then Donovan, both very solid arms who are kind of 27, 28, so right in the thick of their they're not on the decline yet. McKinley Moore, of course, I brought him back. Best reliever in baseball last year with 4 WAR and 107 innings. 3-year, $52.9 million deal. The last year is an option year. Arujo is back, and Dave Correa, my long man from last year, is back in a setup role. He could be a starter. Control's a little questionable, but he's a really good pitcher. And he's still listed as a... Let's go ahead and switch it. So he's listed as a reliever there. There we go. And... So then Anchetta is back, another, very excellent bullpen arm. This is the best bullpen in baseball last year. We did lose a few guys from it. Orlando Sosa is an international free agent that I signed, 27-year-old out of the Dominican. 3-year, $18 million deal. He looks like he could be a very good bullpen piece. Jonathan Groves is a 28-year-old who was our 3rd round pick in 2025 and has been decent at Norfolk the last couple of years, and he is out of minor league options, so he gets the first stab at one of the last bullpen spots because I don't really want to put him on waivers and lose him for nothing. Christopher Sanchez, who is the 4th, 5th starter that we traded for at the deadline the last 2 seasons, and he's under contract for 1 more year. We're paying 60% of his $17 million, so about $10 million. He's our starter. If somebody goes down with an arm injury, he could go into the rotation, and I think he's a really solid bullpen piece with this movement in Camden Yards is just excellent for us, really suppresses the home runs. And then Emilio Caldera is a guy to watch as some of these starters hit free agency next season. Caldera, the number 99 prospect in baseball, 23 years old, a scouting discovery in June of 2024, put up 5 WAR in Norfolk last year. So he'll start as our long man, and we'll see where he goes from there. Player development-wise, 3rd best system in baseball, but you'll see that most guys are either now on our major league team or still in like rookie ball, right? So this is just a testament to how awesome our scout is. It might have been me, I can't remember. Well, I'll give credit to my scout. I don't remember if this is who he recommended, but we picked this guy 29th overall just last year in the draft, and he's the number 3 prospect in baseball. So he didn't do anything in rookie ball last year. Hopefully he can show a little bit more of that ceiling off, but my scout is up to a 70 on him, and OSA is an 80. He was like a 60, I think, when we drafted him. Let's see, he was only a 45. So, yeah. We'll see what comes of him, but that's looking like a good draft pick. Jose Mestas, yeah. So he's like Bob Maldonado Jr. He was an international free agent signing a couple years ago, still just 19, so he's a ways away. Caldera. Bainog is a first-round pick from a few years ago who hasn't done anything in the minors yet. Sandoval. Bobby Robinson is a starting pitcher. And so, yeah, I'm not going to go through all those prospects, but just going to go over the 40-man just so you know guys who will be up this year and possibly contribute. We've got Jake Crozier. He's just a minor league pitcher, younger guy who we picked in the first round supplemental 2028. He'll be around. Willie Gomez, it's a 27-year-old pitcher who will probably get some time up. Sacco Voogd is our international free agent signing from 2024. He's a decent reliever who will probably be up. Ron Walters, another guy who might filter in when we need fresh arms. Steve Martin as well. He's a guy we traded for a couple of years ago. This guy's just depth infield, probably not going to make a difference. Cuevas, Enrique, Soto, all just depth infield guys in case of injury. Jake Stovall is, or maybe Stovall, who knows, second-round pick from 2027, and he's now in AAA. Looking like he could be an all right hitter. We'll see. He's a corner infielder, and that's all he is, but looking like he might contribute at some point. Rojas is a guy that we got in order to have a good backup shortstop option. You know, he's not quite as good as Amador, the guy we signed with the bat, but glove-wise he is. So if there's an injury in the middle infield, he'd probably be the first guy up because of that glove. And then outfield-wise, Ricky Perez has been our fifth outfielder the last couple of years, but done nothing, so he's down in the minors. Jeff O'Brien is our first-round pick from 2027. You know, we got a lot of outfield depth, man. I've already got 4 kind of like almost all-star level outfielders, and now this guy's coming too. He'll start the year in Norfolk, where he hasn't played yet, so this is his first year at AAA. So that's the 40-man. And where did a couple guys go? Like old friend Gunnar Henderson went ahead to the other side of the country and signed with the Oakland A's. And I offered him at the beginning of last season like a 3-year, $80 million deal, and he declined it. Ended up with a 6-year, $92 million deal. So oops, Gunnar. And he's got an opt-out after year 3. I thought about, once I saw his demand had dropped so much, I thought about going for him. But at 30 and his range dropping, I decided that I wanted to go with an awesome fielding shortstop, and I let Gunnar go. So he's gone. The Yankees made one of the biggest splashes in free agency. They signed a star player away from the Royals, you know, like real life small club. Didn't commit the money to Marco Moreno, and the Yankees did. 5.2 WAR last year, 4.1 the year before, and they signed him to an 8-year, $206 million deal. So the Yankees lineup is looking formidable based around him. And then, remember, we also sent a qualifying offer to our second baseman the last couple of years, Luis Garcia, and he hasn't signed anywhere yet. He declined our 1-year, $15 million qualifying offer, and now, if you wanted him, you can offer him a minor league contract where he, after 30 days, he can be promoted to the majors or ask for his release, and he'd be on a $5 million salary if promoted. So I'm actually not even sure if he signs a minor league contract. I would assume we still get the draft pick from the qualifying offer, but maybe he's just not going to play anywhere this year. It's kind of crazy. Pretty good player, but maybe that qualifying offer attached just scared a lot of teams off. There were a few big names that returned to teams. So Juan Soto actually hit free agency, but ended up going back to the Nats for a 5-year, $144 million deal. The reigning World Series champs, the Brewers, brought back their 34-year-old shortstop, Bo Bichette, on a 4-year, $19 million deal after he hit free agency. And then old friend Livian Delgado was one of the top pitchers out on the market. Signed with the Dodgers. He signed a 5-year, $126 million deal. So yeah, that was another one of the big signings. But yeah, that's kind of the team. That's where we're at. We're at opening day against the Rays, and hopefully we can come somewhere near this 109-win prediction, and then maybe we can even win a playoff series this year. That would be neat. I can't believe we got knocked out in the ALDS with the stacked team we had. But yeah, so that's it for now. I'll update you guys a little further down the road.